Welcome to Everyday Dharma Talks, where silence becomes insight. I remember my father's hands. They were not soft hands. They were maps of a life lived through action, stained with a little grease that never quite washed away. From the garage and strong, always so strong, he was not a man of many words. Growing up, I yearned for them. I would see other children being told I am proud of you or I love you. So easily, so freely. Those words felt like a warm coat. And in my quiet house, I often felt a chill. My father showed his love in other ways, in a language I didn't understand at the time. He showed it in the bicycle he fixed for me, its chain gleaming with fresh oil. He showed it by always making sure the car had a full tank of gas before I took it out. He showed it by sitting on the porch, just watching the rain with me. Not saying a word, a silent, steady presence. But I was young and I mistook his silence for absence. I craved the words, the verbal confirmation that I was seen, that I was valued. And because I never heard them, a distance grew between us, a space filled with things left unsaid. Years went by. I moved away, built my own life. Our phone calls were brief, practical. How is work? Is the car running well? Don't forget to check the pressure in your tires. I would always hang up with a hollow feeling, a sense that the most important conversation was one we were never having. I always told myself there will be time. Later, when things settle down, there will be time for the real conversation. But time is a currency we don't control. I got the call one Tuesday morning. He had collapsed. By the time I arrived at the hospital, and the strength I remembered in his hands was gone. He was surrounded by the quiet hum and beep of machines, and his silence was now different. It was fragile. I sat by his bed for hours, holding a hand that now felt like brittle paper. All the words I had ever wanted to say, all the questions I wanted to ask, all the love I wanted to finally confirm, say, all rose in my throat and formed a lump so heavy I could not speak. I wanted to tell him that I finally understood. That the fixed bicycle, the full tank of gas, the quiet moments on the porch, they were all love letters. I had spent a lifetime waiting for a different kind, and I had missed the ones that were delivered to me every single day. But I said nothing. The weight of all those years of silence was too much to move. He passed away that night, and the silence he left behind was permanent. The space between us was no longer something that could be crossed. For months, the weight of my own unspoken words was crushing. As I sorted through his things in that quiet house, I began to see it differently. I found a small wooden bird. He had been carving its wings unfinished. I found my old school reports, tucked away neatly in a drawer. I found a photograph of me as a child on his shoulders, a rare smile on his face. The weight I was carrying wasn't just my own. It was the weight of a conversation where both people were speaking different languages. My burden wasn't just what I failed to say, but what I had failed to hear. The lesson in this story is that the heavy weight of the unspoken is often a shared burden. It comes not only from the words we fail to, but also from the love we fail to see when it is expressed in a language different from our own. The true relief isn't just in speaking, but in learning to listen with our whole heart. We spend so much of our lives waiting for a particular response, a certain gesture that we believe will finally make us feel whole, seen, or loved. We believe satisfaction is something that is given to us from the outside. We are like someone standing in a field at night, waiting for a single firework. We are told this firework will be beautiful, that its brilliant flash will light up our entire world. And so we wait in the cold and the dark, our eyes fixed on one spot in the sky. If the firework finally goes off, there is a moment of dazzling light, a brief explosive beauty, and then the darkness returns, perhaps even deeper and quieter than before. The satisfaction is intense, but it is fleeting. It depends entirely on something outside of our control. True and sustainable satisfaction is not the firework. It is the sun. The sun does not offer a single explosive moment. It rises slowly, steadily every single day. It warms the earth not with a flash, but with a constant, gentle presence. We do not need to wait for a specific moment. We simply need to step outside, turn our face towards it and feel its warmth. This is the nature of true contentment. It is not found in receiving the exact words we long to hear. It is found in cultivating the inner ability to feel the warmth that is already present in our lives. It is the shift from demanding a specific language of love to becoming fluent in all of its dialects. The language of action, of presence, of quiet care. The firework is the validation we seek. The sun is the understanding we cultivate. One leaves us waiting in the dark for the next explosion. The other allows us to live in the light day after day. The constant search for specific, spoken assurances is a path of anxiety. The quiet practice of recognizing unspoken love that is a path of peace. So I invite you gently to look at the relationships in your own life. Think of the people you love. Think of the spaces between you, the silences. What unspoken things are living there? Perhaps you are waiting to hear certain words from a parent, a partner, or a friend. Perhaps you are carrying words you long to say yourself. The weight feels heavy, I know. My advice is not simply to go and speak, because sometimes that is not possible or not wise. The deepest work is not external but internal. It is a change of posture in your own heart. First, I invite you to shift your focus from what is not being said to what is being done. Try not to listen for the words you want to hear. Instead, look for the evidence. Look for the small gestures of care. The cup of tea made for you without asking. The way someone listens to your story, even if they don't have the right response. The simple fact that they are still there in your life. Practice seeing these as the love letters they are. You are not excusing a lack of communication. You are simply learning to read the language that is actually being spoken. Second, if you do choose to speak, try to do so as a gift, not a demand. Speak your truth, your love, your apology, and then let it go. Offer your words into the space between you without the expectation of a specific reply. The purpose of speaking is to liberate the truth within yourself, to give it air. The moment you demand a certain response, your gift becomes a transaction, and you are once again waiting in the dark for a firework. The true release is in the pure act of giving voice to your heart, and for those conversations that can no longer be had. With those who are gone or distant, the work is still possible. Speak the words in the quiet of your own room. Write them in a letter you will never send. Have the conversation in your heart. And love do not require the other person's presence to be felt and cultivated within you. The peace you seek is not in their reply, but in your own completion. This practice of listening with the heart is not a grand, difficult task. It is found in the smallest, most ordinary moments of our days. It is here that we learn to feel the sun, instead of waiting for the firework. It is in the mornings, when your partner moves quietly around the room to let you sleep a few minutes longer. That silence is not an absence of words. It is the presence of care. It is the friend who texts you a simple photo of a beautiful tree with no words needed. They are sharing a moment of peace with you. That is a conversation. It is the patience in the eyes of a stranger who holds a door open for you when you are struggling with groceries. That is a moment of shared humanity. It is the taste of the soup a loved one made for you when you were sick. The ingredients were not just vegetables and broth. They were concern and time, and a wish for you to be well. It is the way a pet lines against your leg. Its steady weight, a silent declaration of trust and companionship. These moments are happening all around us all the time. They are the constant, gentle warmth of the sun. We so often ignore them, dismissing them as ordinary while we scan the horizon for the brilliant, fleeting flash of the firework. But peace, true sustainable peace, is woven from these ordinary threads. It is the quiet joy of realizing that you are and have always been surrounded by love. You just needed to learn how to see it. Thank you for following the podcast. We will meet again in the next story. Be well.